Hey everyone, it is Zach here with some information, some news. You might have already heard about it, but the Pokemon Company has announced the next series rule set. So this will start February 1st, this upcoming month, and this is probably going to be the rule set that you will see played in the Players' Cup 3. Now, we were expecting either GS Cup, which allows 2 restricted mons, or we were expecting kind of like a Series 7 ban of the top 10. So we actually ended up getting not GS Cup, but a form of it where you're only allowed to use one of the restricted Pokemon. So this kind of changes things up and it makes things just a little more complicated when it comes to team building. And it kind of stinks for those people who already started jumping on and planning for the GS Cup style format. So restricted legendary, so basically the Pokemon that you usually see on the box art, you will be allowed one of them. Mythical Pokemon are still banned, and if we go over to the ranked battle section for season 15, series 8, these are the Pokemon that are going to be allowed. You're only allowed to have one of them on the team. So it's Mewtwo, Lugia, Ho-Oh, Kyogre, Groudon, Rayquaza, Dialga, Palkia, Giratina, Reshiram, Zekrom, Kyurem, Xerneas, Yveltal, Zygarde, Cosmog, Cosmoem, Solgaleo, Lunala, Necrozma, Zacian, Zamazenta, Eternatus, and Calyrex. And this also includes their forms. So you could have either Ice Rider or Shadow Rider, Calyrex. You can have Dawnwings or Duskmane, Necrozma. You can have Crowned Zacian, Zamazenta. You can have Kyurem White or Kyurem Black. And then you can have either of the forms of Giratina. So this makes things a little weird. I'm kind of excited for it. Basically, what you would see before is you would see pairings. So you would hear things like Zerndon, which would be Xerneas and Groudon. These would be a pair. They would complement each other. But this time around, since you're only allowed to have one of them, it's going to be a little different. You're going to have to use regular Pokemon to bring up the weak spots of these restricted Pokemon. So Groudon doesn't have its Omega form, so it's just ground type. So it can be burned. So I don't know how good Groudon is going to be. There's still going to be some uses for it because its attack is just crazy good. And Prepus's Blades is a spread attack. Xerneas is going to be good if you can get it set up. There's going to be a bunch of people trying to run it at first glance, but with the Dynamax, the dynamic speeds, and all that good stuff, I don't think it's going to be as powerful as it was in previous GS Cups, especially the fact that you're not going to have another restricted to support it. What I do think we are going to see a lot of is Kyogre. Scarf Kyogre with Water Spout or Origin Pulse is just really good. It's something that I really like. I always like Kyogre over Groudon. I do also have a shiny one that now it was originally Hasty, I believe. Yeah, plus speed, minus defense, so that was like good, but at the same time I lost out on defenses, so now I'm able to Nature Mint my shiny Kyogre, and it can be just a little bit stronger. But one thing that I think will work really well is Torn Ogre, which is a combination of Tornadus and Kyogre. Basically, Tornadus like sets up Tailwind and supports Kyogre with speed, so Water Spout can hit fast and hit hard. So this is going to be a combination you're going to see a lot, especially in early meta. Another one is the horses, the fusion horses, so Calyrex Ice and Calyrex Shadow. You're not going to see just regular Calyrex, but you're going to see the combination of these two. So these are really good because, one, they're psychic type now, so they have access to expanding force. And not to mention their specialty moves are, let's see, Glacier Lance, and then this one has expanding force and then Astral Barrage. These are both 120 power spread moves that if you get a knockout, you're going to get a plus one in. So this is going to be crazy to have these Pokemon able to not only use Max Mindstorm to set up a Psychic Terrain and then get out of Max and have access to Expanding Force, but it's also going to have its Spread Stab move doing 120 damage. So these are definitely mons that you want to like be prepared to counter. And another thing that's really good is that Icy Horse now gets access to Trick Room. So you could do Expanding Force, you can do Glacial Lance, and then you can do either a Knuckle to boost, like you can do a fighting move to boost its attack, because this Pokemon is going to be really weak to like Intimidate, so you're going to see a lot more Intimidate popping up. So Intimidate is going to be really good against this mon and other physical dominated mons, or you could boost its defenses with a Steel move or a Ground move. And the same thing with Calyrex Shadow. We can go back. Let's see if it gets any better ground moves now. So it gets Bulldoze. So Mudshot is still the best one, which is not bad as Max Quake. And then you'd probably want to go Protect. I could honestly take my Player Cup 3 qualifier team and switch out Spectrier for Calyrex Shadow Rider. And another thing that you want to remember when you're looking for the IVs is that you want 0 speed for Trick Room. So far, from what we've seen, you want 0 speed for Trick Room. Its base speed is not as low as regular. It's 50. So at base 50, it's not going to be the slowest. Even if you go Brave, you're going to get it down to 49. I believe that Glacier at a 0 speed was 30. So big difference here in Trick Room setup, where Glacier was a 31 and the lowest you can get Calyrex Ice Rider is down to a 49. So that's going to be a big difference for a lot of people. And also the IVs are based off of Calyrex, because Calyrex is the main mon here. So if you don't have a 0 speed Calyrex, you're not going to be able to get this Trick Room Ice Rider as easy as other people. So that's something that you really want to factor in. It's something that I definitely factored in when I realized that Calyrex was the one who decided the IVs on the fusion. I hunted for a 0 speed Glacier in my sword game, and then once Shield came around, I knew that I could just max out Spectrier. So I took the time to actually hunt for a 0 speed Calyrex. So I have the possibility to run this, but at 49, you're getting outsped by a lot of things in Trick Room. A lot of things that you weren't getting outsped before. I can't think of any off the top, but Trick Room is going to be a little harder for Calyrex, but I think with a lot of the restricted mons, you're going to go hyper offense. So having Trick Room will still be a good setup. So these mons are going to be really good. This pairing is going to be really good. And remember, you can only have one restricted. So if you have Kyogre, you can't have Groudon, you can't have Rayquaza, you can't have any of the Shadow or the Ice Rider. But you could still have Glacier. So you could have a Kyogre with a Trick Room option here. Another thing that you need to worry about is Yveltal. Yveltal is honestly just almost a better Galarian Moltres. So we saw Galarian Moltres at the beginning of Series 7 be really powerful, and this basically has almost the same stats. Let's see. So 125 special defense, 100 special attack, and this has a 131. So you're losing you're losing a decent amount of special defense, but you don't need things as often as the weakness policy or the life orb. Those sets are going to be really good with Yveltal, just like they were with Moltres. But you could also run Assault Vest and make up for that special defense loss. And that's really the only thing you're missing versus Moltres and Yveltal. You're missing a little bit of 27 points of special defense. So Yveltal is definitely going to be something that you need to watch out for. It's going to be one of the premier mons being used when Series 8 finally rises up. And I have to say the next one that you definitely have to plan for is Zacian Crowned. This is one of the reasons, as long as the other strong steel mons like Calyrex Ice Rider gets a strong steel move. There's a lot of strong steel type Pokemon in this game right now, and there's not really a lot to counter it, like good fire type wise. So Behemoth Blade doubles damage against Dynamax mons, so you're going to see a lot of Zacian just leading, trying to wipe out the Dynamax mon, or sitting in the back to come in and handle the Dynamax mon. And it's also resistant to anything that Xerneas has, and it's going to be pretty crazy. So Behemoth Blade, we saw Aaron, Trailer, and Wolf talk about the Wild Charge, Close Combat, and that's a pretty good set because you cover Kyogre matchups, you cover Regigigas matchups, and other dark type mons. And then with Behemoth Blade, whether it's the double damage or the steel type stab, you're going to do a lot to basically any Pokemon. And then you also carry Protect. If you want to run 4 moves, you can run a Fairy Stab. I think Play Rough. Yeah, Play Rough is one of those. So you could have a stab for almost anything. I was really hoping for the Series 7 ban list, because looking at it, Urshifu, Dark, Moltres, Incineroar, all dark type Pokemon, all the prominent dark type Pokemon were in the top usage. So if they would have banned the top like 10 in singles and doubles, we would have had no real good like dark type Pokemon to counter Spectrier. So Spectrier would have been really good if they would have done the Series 7 ban list. But they decided to go for the one Restrict It, which I think is going to be a really interesting format. So you're going to see a lot of kind of like the niche picks from here with a lot of support. I think that Ho-Ho could be good. Groudon will probably be decent. Also, Dialga is another good Trick Room mon. But its base speed is so much higher. It's base 90. So in a double Restrict It, it's not bad for Trick Room. Especially with like Calyrex Ice next to it, you could lead these two and have like a dedicated Trick Room team. But with just having to choose between one of them, if you're going to run Trick Room, you're going to run Calyrex Ice Rider. Who else? Zygarde might be good, might be gimmicky. Don't run the Cosmiums. Lunala won't be as strong as it was in previous formats, just because of Dynamax, and there's going to be a lot that hits it hard. Just like Spectrier. Spectrier is going to not be as good as it was before because of the shift in like power. So if you're going to run Spectrier, you need to probably run the shadow form of Calyrex. And one thing that I want to mention is that you can still bring Landorus. You can still bring the Regigigas. So you're going to see teams like that where they just put one restricted on just for extra power. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of the Regigigas teams or the Galarian Moltres teams just with one of these stronger mons thrown on. Let's delete you, not you. One of these mons thrown on just for extra power. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a lot of Galarian Moltres teams where they switched Moltres for Yveltal and literally just made the set the same, investing maybe a little bit more in special defense to make up. But Dynamax adds in so much more bulk, and out of Dynamax you get Oblivion Wing, which is stab, 80 base power that recovers 75% of damage. So Yveltal actually also has its own form of recovery, which is going to be really good. So you're going to see a lot of teams where they just switch out Galarian Moltres for Yveltal. You're going to see a lot of teams, you might also see it from me, where they change out Spectre for Shadow Rider. And then you might see some teams where they just switch out Glastrier for Ice Rider. But anyways, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Sorry that it came late compared to everyone else making the news. And honestly, when it comes to the restricted formats, I kind of stuck with certain mons in, 2018. I really just used Kyogre. I used Xerneas. And I had a few teams that used Yveltal, but I never really played with it that high in competitions and stuff. Usually when I played in the competitions, I brought something with Xerneas and I brought something with Kyogre. So I don't have that much experience talking about the GS Cup, but I want to know what you guys think in the comments down below. Who are you excited to use? How do you think your team building is going to go? Let's talk about it. Also, if you made it this far in the video, I want to say thanks for watching. And if you want to stay up to date with my content, don't forget to like and subscribe. Hopefully soon I'll be able to tell you whether or not I made it in the Players' Cup 3. It's looking really close, but I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next one.